Hey everyone! So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got into YouTube. I get that question kind of a lot and I wanted to address it a little more in depth than a little 5 Fact Friday. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Sorry, I'm really into this hairstyle. So how I got started on YouTube is in 2011 I got my scarification done, and the artist who did my scarification asked me to keep track, and I thought that was really unique, so I was super into it. And at the time I only had an iPod Touch, so I was kind of filming these videos, keeping track of it daily, but there wasn't enough storage on my iPod Touch to keep these videos on there, so I was posting them directly to YouTube. And I only started doing that because there was a feature after you film on your iTouch that would say send to YouTube. So I was like, yeah, send it to YouTube. I had an account that I think I used to watch videos. So because I couldn't save these videos to my iPod, I was sending them directly to YouTube, and that's where I forgot all about them. If you've been with me for a little while, you may remember that my first 5 videos didn't have captions, didn't have titles, didn't have any information at all, no descriptions in the description box. I was filming them and sending them to YouTube, and that's where they were forever. A couple years went by and I never really thought about these videos, never really needed to access them, and occasionally I would get emails from YouTube, but I would just ignore them. I ignored all my YouTube emails until probably last year. So from 2011 to 2014, I was getting really into, not during that time frame, but those are the years I kind of ignored YouTube and all of my YouTube emails and whatever. And I was getting really into these YouTube beauty videos and things like that, and I was watching those and really liking them, really liking lifestyle videos, and decided to log back in. And I logged back in and I had 5,000 some subscribers. I had all these views on my videos, and I was like, how did this happen? And I had a request from YouTube to ask if I wanted to be a YouTube partner, and this was probably 2 years ago. So I was like, sure, I guess so. So I did whatever I had to do in order to become a YouTube partner. It wasn't that much work, just filling out a couple things, and then they sent a confirmation in the mail just to make sure that you were a real person and you lived at a real address. And then when I got that confirmation in the mail, I typed it into the computer, and then I became a YouTube partner. For me, it seemed like a really appealing idea. I've always had a digital camera with me. I've always taken little short films, little short clips of myself and my friends. I remember when I was younger, 14, if you saw that picture of me with the mohawk, I was the friend who had the digital camera, and I was always taking pictures. And I don't think I had the nicest of friends because they would tease me oh, she's always taking pictures, but 5 years later, everyone was emailing me asking me if I had those pictures from when we were younger. So for me, it seemed like the next step in my blogging, because I've always had Xanga, always had Tumblr, always taken these little videos, and for me it made sense, yeah, let's put them somewhere. If we're gonna be a YouTube partner, that would be great. And even now, I'm finding all these old little videos of me. I kept a video diary when I lived in Texas. I kept a video diary when I lived in my 3rd apartment, and I just have all this content. And for me, speaking to a camera, I feel like I'm having a conversation, I'm talking to a person, and it feels so familiar and comfortable. All of those ideas, all of those thoughts went into signing up for the YouTube partnership, and that was so easy. And then from then on, I kind of didn't know where I wanted to take my YouTube videos, and I think I was a little lost at first because all my subscribers that happened after 2011 when I originally posted those 4 videos, I felt like those subscribers wanted to see me with the red hair, wanted to see me getting pierced and modified and stuff. And by then, with the church bells. And by then, I had already had brown hair and taken my piercings out, so I was really afraid that I was going to disappoint my audience. So I think I tried to overcompensate at first, and I really didn't know where I wanted to take my videos. Made a few videos that I thought people wanted to watch, and after that I kind of lost that and started to make videos that I wanted to do and not necessarily videos that I thought would be popular. And I think that's where my method really came from. It was easier for me to take inspiration from my own life, and I don't want that to come off the wrong way, but when I'm watching other videos and watching the other YouTube videos online that I like them, but they don't really convey my life, and that's probably why I like them. So for me, I wanted to show people a lifestyle that they may not have. I can talk about being vegan, I can talk about living in a city, I can talk about being a tattooed woman, because I feel like I can lend that to people who maybe enjoy viewing that lifestyle, but for some reason maybe they can't have it, or maybe they don't want it. And I think that helped me break the mold and kind of get out of the couple first videos that I made that I thought people wanted to watch. Somewhere along the line, I came up with the idea for Public Record, and Public Record was supposed to be my tattoo diary. And I had all these ideas to interview my friends and kind of talk about tattooed people and how it is to live tattooed, but to an audience that may not know about tattoo world or tattoo culture, but who is interested. Because I feel like a lot of my viewers come from this world where they just want a glimpse of this life. I was able to interview like some of my friends, but it is hard to get my friends in front of the camera, and I know it's because it's like awkward or weird, or they don't want to go on my YouTube, and it's hard because you face a lot of scrutiny, and it's pretty hard to sell that to your friends, because some of the comments I get, I tell you all the time, like, break my heart. And for me, like, I want to protect my friends, so yeah, I'd love to make videos and content with them, but it's hard to have that conversation where you're like, if you go on my channel, someone might say something terrible about you. That, it's kind of hard to get my friends on my YouTube. I still hold Public Record in my heart, and I still think it's a great idea. My 666 tattoo video, do I regret it? I don't know how it became so popular. Some of the comments are like, why did YouTube recommend this video to me? So I guess it was put on YouTube's recommended. But some of the comments on there, I had to kind of walk away from Public Record for a little while, because I wanted it to be like an honest view of tattooed life and the weird little things that come from being tattooed and the weird little inspiration that you find in life to get tattoos. And I never meant for it to be a malicious thing, and I never meant for it to hurt anyone's feelings, but every YouTube video I make, I learn a lesson from, and now I edit my videos a little better. I'm learning how to use software a little better. I'm learning my camera a little better, but every video is a learning lesson. And I don't think I was ready to get that much attention that early, not even early on. I think I filmed that like a month ago. But the comments are harsh, and I wasn't ready to make that video. I say and yeah and things like that a lot in that video, and even now I'm learning to take those little transitional phrases out of my lexicon. That video kind of killed Public Record for me for a little while, just because I thought that it was going to be this great idea and this great glimpse into people's lives, and into my friends' lives, and the people I love who are tattooed, or people like John who live in tattoo culture but do not have tattoos. I had so many friends that written on a list and dates and everything, but after that video it kind of fell through. I've only made like one episode of Public Record after that, but in my heart it was gonna be amazing. And now my friends, like, they don't touch it. They don't touch that subject with me. And that's just YouTube. I mean, I don't really have any regrets. I wish I could go back and edit that video so people would be like, so people would stop saying, this is the most boring girl in the world. And I did kind of take a lot of lessons from that, so I don't know. This is kind of how my YouTube channel has grown, and turned into what it is now, and I think it's great. For me, I've always been this person who existed in my blogs, in my online little world forever. Like, people would say, like, oh, you should be a photojournalist, like that's right up your alley, or you should do this and you should do this, because I've always, you should see my first digital camera. It's weird, but it's always been my world. I've always loved it. I never came from like a rich family or even like a secure family, so I never had like the best equipment, the best a tripod, any of this stuff. So now I'm 25 and I'm figuring it all out, and it's fun, and I'm glad to do it for everybody, and I'm glad to lend what I can figure out to people along the way. I was happy to make that how I film my YouTube videos video, and I don't really know where it came from because my parents aren't really on the computer, and John isn't really on the computer. My best friend, she like recently deleted her Facebook and doesn't update her Instagram anymore, and it's strange because I don't have that person to like relate to about it, but then I can log on and I can be with all of you, and it satiates that. In real life, no one really talks about it, and I don't really have that inspiration, but it's cool because it reminds me that it's coming from my heart and that I'm not being influenced by somebody else, and that it is pure and it is like a desire that I want. And I love YouTube, and I love you guys, and I love Qcknd. Quicken has always been this concept that's been with me. When I was a lot younger, I had a xanga, and I loved my xanga, and it was my first taste at like broadcasting myself, because I would write on my xanga. I didn't know anyone knew it, because if anyone remembers xanga, it's kind of like the before Tumblr, and there wasn't really a way to like get your webpage out there, get your URL out there, because you couldn't share your content. It only existed on your page. I remember being in a social studies class, and the girl who sat in front of me in social studies, I always thought she was really cool. She turned around and she's like, "So I read your xanga." And I was like, "What?" And I had to quick think, like, have I ever talked shit on social studies? She was like, "Yeah, I like it." That for me, like, kind of confirmed that it wasn't all a waste, and that I could reach out to an audience, and the things that I talk about, even if they're just about me or like my thoughts, could exist and go out there. For the longest time, I thought I wanted to be a writer, although like I a little bit pursued that and wrote short stories and wrote little things online. The blogging kind of is what I always went back to. So Quicken was my first xanga, and Quicken stands for Quiet Cool Kid, No Doubt, because I don't know, 10 years ago kids used to say no doubt. For me, Quiet Cool Kid is just who I've always been. I've always kind of been that kid in the back of the classroom who didn't say anything all year but like sustained themselves. Like, I don't think I was ever like a creepy kid or like a weird, well, I was probably kind of weird. I just always like to observe and absorb and kind of listen and be with my surroundings, but like didn't really have much to say. I was always fine with just like hanging out and listening and observing, having the confidence to like just be me, and that was my lifestyle, and that's what my friends were like, and we were kind of like on the outer cusp of like our social scene, but comfortable and fine with it and confident with our own little quirks and our own little ideas. And I've never been ashamed of who I am, but I do recognize that it might be different. So that's what Quicken means, and my xanga has since been deleted, and not on purpose. I loved that thing, I put my heart into it, and I, more than anything, wish I could access it again. But Quicken turned into a Tumblr right away, and my Tumblr, I think, celebrated its 5-year birthday recently. Maybe it's 6. I love my Tumblr. I wish I could legally change my name to Quicken. It means so much to me and it carries me. And if I ever feel weird or awkward, I can always think of my mantra and be like, hey, so what if you're not leading this conversation? Maybe you have a good point that you can bring and keep things moving along. I can walk down the street confidently with no friends and still feel good about myself and still feel sustained. And that's Quicken. I wish quickenness upon all of you. Let me know if you think that you're Quicken too, because I love it. And it used to be for a long time when my Tumblr was good. When I moved to Philly, people would be like, are you Quicken? And it was cool. I loved it. I loved to be like, hey, yeah, and hug them, introduce them to whoever I'm with. I remember a couple years ago, I was kind of just like talking to this kid, and I remember it came down to him being like, hey, I don't want to be with you on the streets, and one of your fans come up to us and say, hey, like that makes me feel weird. I don't want it to be like, they're not fans, they're my friends. They're the people who believe in me and believe in my content and believe in what I have to say. And we didn't work out because that's not what it is. It's not fans, it's mutuals, it's my allies, the people who believe in me and believe in what I built for myself. It's so comfortable to pursue my passions. And yeah, I go to beauty school, and yeah, I went to school for communications, and that's all great, but it's cool that this is working out, and I feel happy about it. I'm not discouraging anyone from approaching me. It's always been great. Every person who's ever approached me has either become my friend or, hey, follow me, what are you doing? Let's do it together. Oh, you're waiting in line for ice cream? Let's eat it together. Like, I love it. Sorry, this turned into something different. I thought it would. But this is how my YouTube came to be. This is where Quicken came from. And I'm so happy that you guys are here along with me and can experience this with me and talk to me and support me, because this is the world I exist in. And I'm so happy. But bye. Let me know if you have any other questions. I love these sit-down videos. I'm sorry that they get sidetracked. Bye.